Let's welcome our first speaker of the session, Dr. Sara Sansaloni Pastor. She successfully obtained her Ph.D. at the University of Geneva, where she focused on cancer research, and following her strong interest in translationability in R&D, she's currently a postdoctoral fellow at Johnson & Johnson. And today she will be talk us through the importance of quality and compliance in the industry. The floor is yours.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me here today. Wait, no, okay. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey and how, starting work studying biotechnology, I ended up working in quality. So I studied a Bachelor in Biotechnology in the University of Valencia, where I'm from, in Spain. And during that time, I took several extracurricular internships to work in research. I work in mainly cardiology, but also a lot of in vitro. I even did my final work from biotechnology in transdifferentiation from fibroblasts to hepatocytes, so something very specific. Then I wanted to learn more about research in patients, because in biotechnology you learn from molecular biology to bioreactors, but you don't have applied science. And that's why I did a master in the Hospital Vall in Barcelona in Biomedical Translational Research. So during that time, I was able to work with patients. I worked with human samples. I had contact with the patients. And it was mainly in cardiology, in patients that have a heart attack. And then I wanted to keep working in research. And I decided that if I want to work in something that will arrive to patients, so maybe I will have to learn about in vivo experimentation. So I did the maximum certification in animal experimentation while I looked for a PhD. So then I moved to Switzerland and I did a PhD in the University of Geneva in the Department of Pharmaceutical Technology. In that time, I work in the oncology field, I work in vitro, and many other techniques. And in addition, we designed a new system that we patented. So then, I was not a pharmacist, and I was in the pharma department. So I could see that the pharma field is huge. So I tried to learn more about everything I could. So I took several courses outside the PhD, like in health economics, in project management, everything that I could to better understand what was out there. So then we can already see that there is like a carry on in knowledge. Now I start in vitro and cardiology, then I moved to cardiology. I was able to present my final work of the master, also having it published. No? But there is also much more behind, because you are also learning a lot of soft skills on the way. And I think that it is something very important to give some thoughts. Because while you work in a lab, you learn about teamwork, you learn about how to manage your time, sometimes how to manage your budget, because you have a specific amount of money. So there is a lot of soft skills that you need to think that which ones you learn. Because when you look for a job, you will see that they look for very specific skills, and you may have them, but you just don't think about them. So then when I finished my PhD, I wanted to learn more about the economic side of the pharma. So I took a position as a capital venture associated. During that time, I worked looking for startups and then learning about which financial state they have. I look for their products. I look for competitors. I did also like geographical mapping. So in that way, I could have a solid base in economics, or at least in startups economics, which is very different from my last role, that is in G&G, which is a very big company, as I'm sure many of you know. So why did I apply for a postdoc in quality and compliance? So even after I have a patent in my thesis, I was aware that this will not arrive to patients. This will not be something that I will be able to see being in the university. So I wanted to go somewhere that I could understand how from an idea you actually have a product and it's able to help patients. So that's why I decided to join Johnson & Johnson. Okay, so about the position. So this position actually, it's a little bit special because it's a 2 years and it's a rotational program. So I will be working in all the departments within quality and compliance. Then I'm sure that many of you are aware what is quality and compliance, but many may think that it's taking samples and just checking that the pH is okay so we can go forward, or you have like all the batches are more or less the same. Yeah, let's go. So actually there is a lot of roles within quality and compliance. Of course, it depends on the size of the company, the country. For instance, in Johnson & Johnson, you have a huge department. So if we take one pillar of the pharma, we will have quality. And then we have different departments. You have quality assurance, which they work mainly in audits, but they also support inspections. They have to check the different risks in the protocol, for instance, in clinical trial. They also work with preclinical. They are the ones that when you have questions, if your protocol is going to be okay, you have to go them, and they will see if it's actually feasible or not. Then we have governance and strategy, which is kind of the skeleton. They design the strategy for the departments. They also have usually the talent acquisition programs, and they work more to overview the other departments. Then we have medical safety, for instance, that they work different protocols, but they also work in pharmacovigilance mainly. And then we have supplier and vendor. I'm sure all of you know about it. With quality analytics, maybe you are more familiar because they work with a lot of data. They also work in automatization. Name it, they will make it happen. We have also process and data management when they work with SOPs, or if there is an update in the regulation, they will have to go through all the documents and see if there is an impact, if they have to change something. So, as I already said, this is a rotational function, and I'm going to talk about the first rotation that I just finished, that it was in QA. So in QA, there are many different roles. In my case, I was working with a project lead. So what they do? So first of all, they have to assist to they have to know which risk each clinical trial has. So, for instance, one of my projects individual was to improve their tool that they used to calculate, because it was not very accurate, so I had to work in a mathematical model to make it accurate. So then you use this tool and you say, okay, so this protocol have a higher risk, so maybe we should audit this. So what happened after? You'd say, okay, this protocol is going to be audited, but you have thousands of sites, like thousands of hospitals that are doing the clinical trial. So which one you go? There are many things that you have to consider. You have to consider if there is somewhere that there are issues arising, if they have enough patients enrolled, because sometimes you will have a site that opened 2 years ago and have 20 patients, and some that opened 2 weeks ago and they have 3, but they have more issues. So you have to balance everything. You have to contact everyone, and be sure that you choose the right site. And then once you decide, okay, we are going to this site, you have a lot of communication with that site, because you have to be sure of the risk that they have in this specific, if they have some kind of issue, that you have to ask for more documentation. And you also have to check all the protocols by yourself to see which are the risky points. And then, of course, you have all the audit preparation, go through all the documentation, talk with everyone from the site, and see what you need. Of course, the audit, you go there, you talk with many nice people, you talk with them, they share their findings, they share their thoughts, you have to go through all the facilities, you have to interview everyone who works in the protocol. You have to see that all the materials it's been like shipped as they should. And then I will, from all of this, we can say that there is a lot of skills that are needed to work, for instance, in quality assurance. You have to read a lot. You have to have a critical thinking, because sometimes you may find something that is a deviation, but it's not important. So you have to be able to decide if this is something that you are going to follow up, or is something that you will just do a note and find a solution. They also imply a lot of networking and a lot of communication, because you will be every day talking with hundreds of people. You will be talking from clinical trials, from people that is doing development. When there is an acquisition, there will be someone from QA that will analyze that this acquisition is actually, it's okay for the company. They also work in inspection, so that also means that you have to be very diplomatic and help to prepare everything. And then another extra good point is that you also have the opportunity to travel everywhere, because if you work in a big company or middle-sized company, you may have clinical trials in different countries, so you got the opportunity to work and travel there. And with that, I would like to make a point about how important are the skills and the skills that you need to build for the position that you want to work, because every different type of position will require a different skill set. Therefore, it's, in my opinion, good to look for job positions, what they ask for, and see if you fit. And if you don't, you work on those skills. And with that, I would like to thank you all for your attention.